Hi there, my name is Ville Hoikkala. I'm the head of bioinformatics here at Precision Phage and the lead developer of our upcoming software Phagenomics BatchQC. Phagenomics BatchQC is a platform for phage genome integrity monitoring in GMP-level production environments. We're building this platform at a very exciting time where the laws and regulations surrounding GMP-level phage production are being established globally. Some details of these laws and regulations are still being drafted, but there are very strong indications that the production will follow a tiered system, where you start with a well-characterized and annotated master seed lot, from which working seed lots and production batches are then derived from. There are also very strong indications that you need to ensure the genomic integrity of your phage during this tiered production. So you need to ensure that your working seed lots and possibly the production batches match genomically what is in the master seed lot. And this is what we have built Phagenomics BatchQC for. What you're seeing here is the master seed lot view of Phagenomics BatchQC, the starting point for your phage production pipeline. What I've done here already is that I've uploaded a pre-assembled and pre-annotated phage genome against which we will then compare our working seed lots and production batches. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a new child lot, and in my project these child lots are configured to be called working seed lots. The naming and the number of these tiers might change from company to company, and they might also be affected by the upcoming laws and regulations. I will then upload some sequencing files. So we support Illumina, Nanopore and PacBio technologies. With this one I'm going to go with Illumina. And I'm going to upload my forward and reverse reads. They are uploaded to our server, and after undergoing a quick quality check, they are ready to be mapped on to the master seed lot. So I'm going to click on Start Mapping. Here I can choose a mapping preset. So this is a collection of parameters that are used in the actual mapping pipeline. You can either create your own presets and customize them as much as you want, or you can use one of our pre-made presets like I'm doing here. You can also upload any number of control genomes, for example the bacterial host genome or plasmid DNA, anything that you might want to control for from a contamination point of view. I'm then going to click on Start Mapping, and this triggers our complex bioinformatic pipelines under the hood. So here we abstract a lot of complexity under a very simple user interface. So what happens in the background is that we first do quality control for your raw genomic data. We look at the reads, we get rid of bad quality reads, depending on the parameters that were set. We then map the reads onto your master seed lot genome, as well as any control genomes, if you had any. We then assess the impact of each mutation or variant that we find in the data, and we generate a lot of statistics based on this mapping. And these statistics then create the basis for your certificate of analysis, which is the final step in our phage analysis pipeline. Now you could do all of this manually. You could have a bioinformatician running a bunch of different tools, starting from quality control, progressing to mapping, and then analyzing that mapping data. And while this is certainly doable, it's very unscalable. And the fact that for GMP phage production you need to be able to standardize and validate these procedures makes this a complicated issue. So what we've done with BatchQC is that we've abstracted all of this under one package, and not only the bioinformatic pipelines, but also the document governance, which I will return to in just a moment. So as you can see, we have now finished our analysis. In this overview tab, you can, at a very quick glance, get a view of how the mapping went, if anything alarming was found. I'm not going to go into detail on these now. I'll just instead go to the raw reads tab. So here you can see the results of our initial quality control steps. we have about 200,000 reads that did not pass the quality control, so we got rid of those. And those reads that did pass, most of them mapped back on to the phage genome. We also have some unmapped reads, and if you had any control genomes, you would also see how many reads mapped back onto the control genomes, like the host DNA, for example. On the depth tab, you can see the coverage across the phage genome. So here on the x-axis you have the phage genome starting from 1 to the end of the genome, and on the y-axis you have the sequencing depth, with the red line indicating the mean depth across the genome. And here you can see, for example, any large deletions visually very clearly and quickly. On the variant tab you have a detailed view of all the variants or mutations that we found in the data. So in this table we can see that there are 3 mutations that are very prevalent in our dataset. If we click on one of them, we can see that the variant frequency is close to 100%. This means that your sample has very likely mutated and should raise some alarm bells in your quality department. If we then proceed to the rule sets tab, this section is still under development, but in the future you will be able to define thresholds and checkpoints for different quality metrics. So I mentioned before that not only do we do bioinformatics, but we have also incorporated an FDA 21 CFR Part 11 compliant signature system inside BatchQC. This means that you do not need to take documents or results out of BatchQC and have them signed in a completely separate signature tool. These signature tools can become very expensive, and the process of exporting results from BatchQC and putting them through the signature tool adds a lot of complexity in your workflows, especially as you scale up. We built BatchQC so that depending on your company policy, you will have different people signing different sections of the results. For instance, the quality control parameters shown here might only be signable by your quality control department. The raw read quality control, the mapping, or the variant calling results could be only signable by a dedicated bioinformatician, for instance. To sign a result, we simply go here, click on Sign Result. We read through what we are going to be signing, and we confirm that you want to sign the above results. In the future, you will have to type your password here to be FDA compliant, but in the developmental version that I'm showing you right now, this is not needed. We have now successfully signed one of these results. Now, in the Certificate of Analysis tab, this is where it all comes together. So, Certificate of Analysis is a document that contains all the results and all the signatures from your analysis in BatchQC. And this is exportable to any outside tools, such as your electronic quality management system. We can generate a free preview of the Certificate of Analysis by clicking here, and we can have a look at what the actual PDF will look like. So this is just a preview, and as I said before, this is a developmental version of BatchQC, so this doesn't actually contain all the elements that will be contained in the final version. If we are happy with the Certificate of Analysis, we can click here. We'll tick these boxes to ensure that we know what we are doing, and then we will proceed to sign the certificate. Depending on your company policy, you can also define the person or personnel who can sign these certificates. I'm going to sign it here. This leads to the generation of the final Certificate of Analysis shown here, which can then be downloaded as a PDF. Now, BatchQC is still under development. We've recently opened a pilot program for BatchQC. If your company is interested in adopting Phagenomics BatchQC and Precision Phage as your compliance partner in phage genomics, do let us know. We would be very happy to have you on board. You will still have the opportunity to affect the features and the usability of the tool, so we would be very eager to hear what you have to say. And if you decide to adopt Phagenomics BatchQC, we will be with you all the way, providing training and validation material for the validation efforts for your local authorities.